To travel or to not travel alone? That is the question. I didn't have any skull with me, so I had to use this rubber ball. But anyways, what are the advantages of traveling alone? What are the challenges that you will find in your path if you decided to do so? In this video, I will share some of my experiences and some of my stories of traveling alone that may help you to do so. I will break this video into two sections. One, explaining the pros and cons of traveling alone. And this is, of course, my opinion and the trips I did by myself. The second section is more practical one, in a way. And it is related to what you take with you in your trip. More specifically, your luggage and your backpack itself. Starting about the pros and cons of traveling alone. Well, the first con is you are alone. So if any problem appears, it's up to you. And for example, with me on my first trip to Europe, I was running really low in money. So I didn't book any hotel or hostel before going. So I would arrive into a city and I would have to find a place to stay the day I was in on the fly. And it was high season. So all the hotels or hostels were almost full. And I would walk and walk and walk, trying to find a place to stay, a place to sleep, and I wouldn't find. And at the time, smartphones weren't so common. To access internet, I had to go to a LAN house, which was quite a challenge. And there is this thing when you are alone in a country and you don't have a place to stay. It's kind of daunting, and it's a really specific pressure, but a really big one, I felt. But I had to deal with it without anyone to share. I imagined that if I had someone with me, the weight of this process of me trying to find a place to stay would be lighter. I remember once, for example, in Paris, I didn't find a place to stay, and it was 7 p.m. and I was walking like crazy in the streets, trying to find a hotel or a hostel, someplace I could sleep. I eventually found one, really cheap, dirty, terrible, but it was the only room available, so I had to get it. And as I said, if you have someone with you, every single problem it appears, you have someone to share. It's more comfortable to be with someone. So this is a con of traveling alone. A pro, you meet more people. Since you are alone, you don't have a person to talk with, and thus you have to be more open and talk to people on the trains, on the museums, whatever you go. I don't know, maybe it's because our nature to try to connect with the other. But when you are traveling alone, you will expose yourself more. If you are shy or whatever, you will do more things. I don't know if it's the magic of traveling, so you can meet more people, and these encounters, they may give you different experiences. Maybe you found another tourist, so you guys can talk about life, your countries. Maybe you meet a person from the country, so you can know more about the costumes of the place. Meeting more people is for sure a good side of traveling alone. Now, another con is that you may feel alone sometimes. Like, for example, me. I remember one day I was going to visit the Coliseum, and I don't know, I just got there and I felt so lonely. I have no idea why, but I felt really lonely on that day. And I think this is something that may happen to you. Because even if you meet more people, usually they will not be with you all the time. And since you are in a different country and you don't know anyone and you don't know even the places itself, being or having this feeling of being alone is definitely something that may happen. For me, it wasn't nothing great. It went away, but it's something that might happen to you. And another pro is that you can go wherever you want to go. If you are with another person, you have to decide with this person where you guys want to go. And it might not be the place you want to go. So being alone, you have this complete freedom to go where you want and to do whatever you want. At your time, if you're tired, you stop. You don't have to agree with another person. It's you and you alone. Now, a small tip for traveling alone. You kind of need to know the language because you don't have someone that could support you in communicating with the natives. So it's all in your shoulders, the responsibility to communicate and to do things like get a train or order a meal. So knowing the language is really important. You don't have to know the language perfectly, but it needs to be on the so-so level at least. Of course, the better it is, the better your experience will be. And this is one thing really important. If you're planning to travel to some place, try to study the language. And if you know it, learn it better. The better you know, the better your whole experience will be. And now about your luggage. Well, this is an interesting topic. And you have to decide a few things and how far you are willing to accept some sacrifices. Of course, if you have a lot of money, it doesn't matter. Just take whatever you want with you. But if you don't have a lot of money, or you want to feel more free in your trip, then I would recommend you to take as little as luggage as you can. In my case, on my last trip to England, I took with me everything I could in a way. So I took 2 backpacks. I didn't like it too much. It's more clunky to travel with a lot of bags. Again, if you need for whatever you're going to your trip, then it's fine. But if you're going to discover the country, then I would recommend less bags. On my first trip to Europe, I brought with me one single backpack, and it's more or less the size of this one. It's not big at all, and this was the only backpack I took with me. It was kind of crazy, but I have a few things in my favor. The first one, that it was summer, so I didn't have to carry big coats and, extra pants, socks. And the idea was pretty simple. The less things I carry with me, the more free I am to go wherever I want to go. The thing I said about money is if you have money, you can just call a cab and throw your stuff in there, and that's it. But if you are in a tight budget, then you might consider this small version of luggage. But it comes with a few challenges. One in my example. I took with me only 3 shirts, 3 underwears, and 3 socks, counting the ones I were wearing at the time. So I had my clothes that I was wearing, and I had 2 spares. The thing is, every night I had to wash something. So I would arrive to a hotel and just wash some clothes. Again, for me, it wasn't too much big deal. but it may be for you. The second thing is you will sacrifice in fashion. So if you want to be the best look tourist, maybe this option is not for you. Again, since you are carrying so little stuff with you, you're not carrying the fashions thing possible. You're carrying what works. Something for cold, something for warm, and some extra. Oh, and bring pajamas, I forgot. So, yeah, an extra challenge. Or for example, my backpack was so full that I didn't have space for any shaving equipment. So when I needed to shave, I would go to a supermarket and I would buy a really cheap razor. So yeah, those were some of my experiences and tips for you if you want to travel alone. I would say it's really good. You grow as a person a lot. Being alone and not having a single person to count on, you have to do things by yourself. And thus you have to grow in a way. And I could say that I changed a lot after the trip. Quite significant change. So yeah, maybe next trip you can think about going alone. It's not easy, and maybe it will not be the perfect trip that you ever imagined without any difficulties or challenges. Quite the opposite. But nevertheless will be an experience that you will remember forever and that will tailor you in a way, really deep and meaningful way. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't subscribe, subscribe, and see you next time.